It started as a whisper, but tonight, the truth is out in the open. Erika Kirk, once seen as the grieving widow and the new face of Turning Point USA, is now at the center of a media firestorm, thanks to two of the most influential voices in America. Joe Rogan and Candace Owens have both gone public, and their takedown of Erika's story has left fans stunned, the internet divided, and the entire conservative movement on edge. Welcome to Spotlight Vault, where we break down the drama, the receipts, and the real story behind the headlines. The first shot was fired by Joe Rogan. On his podcast, Rogan didn't mince words. He called out Erika Kirk's plastic values, plastic smile, and a plastic story to sell you. He questioned everything about her public persona, from her calm tone to her perfectly measured answers. "There's something unusual about the way she's navigating this situation," Rogan said. "Like she notices the camera before she notices her own feelings." That one line sent social media into meltdown. Clips of Rogan's comments exploded across TikTok and X, with fans saying, "Joe finally said what everyone was thinking." But Rogan didn't stop there. He broke down Erika's interviews, pointing out how her emotions seemed almost performative, as if she was playing a role rather than sharing her truth. "It looks too clean," he said. "If it looks too clean, something's up." His co-host agreed, adding, "She's running PR, not an emotional process." The internet ran with it, replaying Erika's memorial speech frame by frame, searching for any sign that her sadness was scripted. Then Candace Owens entered the fray, and the conversation went nuclear. Candace didn't tiptoe around anything. She went live, replaying Erika's interviews, pausing, rewinding, and breaking down every blink, every shift in expression. "Notice that blink," Candace said sharply. "That's the moment she realizes she said too much." Her tone was cold, confident, and relentless. She lined up Erika's old statements about Charlie, full of passion and devotion, next to her newer, more distant comments. "You can't go from calling someone your guiding light to speaking about them like a press briefing unless something shifted inside you or unless you're playing a role," Candace declared. The internet went wild. Hashtags like #exposed Erika and #who's playing now trended for hours. The real shock came when Rogan responded to Candace's breakdown on his own show. "Candace isn't wrong," he said. "The energy doesn't match the situation. There's a level of composure that only makes sense if you're focused on optics." His co-host laughed. "She's running PR, not an emotional process." Rogan nodded. "Exactly. If it looks too clean, something's up." That moment sent the internet into overdrive. Fans started analyzing every public appearance Erika made, every designer outfit, every carefully controlled smile. Meanwhile, Erika stayed silent. No statements, no clarifications, not even a vague post. And that silence only made things spiral faster. Candace called it calculated calm, saying Erika was waiting for the storm to settle before stepping back out as the misunderstood figure again. Rogan joked that her silence said more than any PR message ever could. Even mainstream outlets couldn't ignore the chaos. Headlines debated whether Erika's grief was real or just another layer of branding. Behind the scenes, sources close to Turning Point USA claimed tensions were rising fast. One unnamed staffer allegedly said, "We can't tell her what to say anymore." Erika was running her own playbook, and that had people convinced she was gearing up for something bigger, maybe a career shift, maybe political goals, maybe just trying to stay ahead of the chaos. But the real question is, if both Joe Rogan and Candace Owens believe something feels off, what does that say about what hasn't been revealed yet? Because in today's world, truth isn't just about what you say, it's about what people see when you don't say anything at all. And just when everyone thought the drama might cool down, it only got hotter. The next twist would leave even Erika's critics speechless. As the internet's obsession with Erika Kirk reached a fever pitch, the conversation only grew more intense. Every podcast, every reaction video, every comment section was ablaze with debate. Was Erika a master of media strategy? Or was she simply trying to survive a storm she never asked for? The line between sympathy and suspicion blurred, and the stakes kept rising. Candace Owens wasn't about to let the story fade. In her next episode, she doubled down, replaying Erika's most recent interviews and comparing them to her earliest public statements after Charlie's passing. "You can't rewrite your emotional script this fast," Candace insisted. "Either you're hiding something, or you're playing a part." She paused dramatically, letting the silence hang. "And the public deserves to know which it is." The internet ran with it. TikTok creators stitched together clips of Erika's speeches, highlighting every moment where her tone shifted or her eyes darted away from the camera. Reddit threads exploded with side-by-side screenshots. Erika's confident smile at a recent event next to her tearful memorial speech. "Saint or strategist?" one meme asked. "Is silence strength, or is it branding?" The debate was everywhere. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan kept the pressure on. On his next show, He brought up Erika's demand for cameras in the courtroom, calling it either the move of a truth teller or a master strategist. His guest agreed, saying, "She's playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers." Rogan nodded. "But media smart doesn't mean innocent. It means every word, every pause, every tear is part of a script." That line hit hard, and fans blasted it across every platform. The mainstream media couldn't ignore the chaos any longer. Headlines debated whether Candace and Joe were being too harsh, or simply saying what everyone else was afraid to admit. Some journalists defended Erika, calling the critiques borderline cruel, but others admitted off the record that something about her reactions just didn't feel natural. Even late-night hosts got in on the action, joking that the truth hides best in silence, a phrase that quickly became the new viral soundbite. Behind the scenes, things were reportedly even more tense. Sources close to Turning Point USA claimed that Erika's team was scrambling to manage the optics after the Rogan Owens double strike. One anonymous staffer allegedly said, "We can't tell her what to say anymore." That only fueled the speculation that Erika was preparing for something bigger, maybe a political run, maybe a new media venture, maybe just a way to stay ahead of the chaos. But the real turning point came when Erika finally broke her silence. After weeks of speculation, she released a statement that flipped the narrative on its head. She accused the media of crafting a storyline that twisted facts and hid important details. "The version of events everyone has been repeating is not the real story," she said. "It's a version written to protect powerful groups, not the public." Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed a mix of defiance and exhaustion. Erika demanded that cameras be allowed inside the courtroom for full transparency. "The public has the right to see exactly what happens behind those polished doors," she declared. That quote took over the internet instantly. Some called her move bold, others called it strategic, but everyone agreed on one thing. She had just flipped the whole game and turned defense into offense. Joe Rogan reacted on his show saying, "When someone demands cameras in the courtroom, that's either the move of a truth teller or a master strategist." Candace Owens played Erika's statement on her podcast and challenged her directly. "Real honesty means releasing documents, naming names, and showing the receipts, not just talking about faith and justice." The internet was split. Some viewers saw redemption, others saw strategy. But the buzz was undeniable. Erika had taken back her narrative, at least for the moment. But as the noise got louder, one question hung in the air. If this is what's being said in public, what's really happening behind the scenes? Because in the world of Spotlight Vault, the story is never over. And the next twist was about to take everyone by surprise. As Erika's demand for courtroom cameras echoed across the internet, the conversation shifted once again. Supporters hailed her as a champion of transparency, while critics called it a calculated move to control the narrative. The hashtags #ShowTheCourtroom and #TurningPointTruth trended for days, with fans and skeptics alike dissecting every word of her statement. But behind the scenes, the pressure was mounting. Inside Turning Point USA, insiders described a climate of uncertainty. Some staffers reportedly urged Erika to stay quiet and let the storm pass, while others encouraged her to go public and reclaim her story. The organization's board was split, with some fearing that more exposure would only invite further scrutiny. But Erika was resolute. "If we don't lead with transparency, we become the problem," she reportedly told her team. That phrase, "we become the problem," quickly became a rallying cry, spreading across social media and turning into a meme overnight. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan and Candace Owens kept the spotlight burning. Rogan's audience debated whether Erika's move was genuine or just another layer of strategy. "She might be the most media-savvy person in politics right now," one commenter wrote. Candace, never one to back down, fired back on her podcast. "Media smart doesn't mean innocent. It means every word, every pause, every tear is part of a script, and the audience doesn't get to read the last page." The internet ate it up, with fans and critics alike sharing clips and sound bites across every platform. But the real shock came when Erika made one more promise. Turning Point USA would release a full transparency report, revealing exactly what happened that day in the courtroom. "No redactions, no summaries, just raw details," she vowed. Her supporters cheered, calling her a warrior for truth. Her critics rolled their eyes, calling it another polished move. But either way, Erika had seized the narrative once again. As the week went on, the story only grew more complex. Late-night comedians joked about clear plastic transparency, while political commentators argued over whether Erika's boldness was a sign of innocence or just another PR tactic. Even some of Erika's longtime supporters began to ask questions. Was she hiding from the chaos? Or was she quietly managing it from behind the scenes? The internet, meanwhile, was relentless. Every silence, every slight smile, every careful gesture was scrutinized for hidden meaning. Podcasts tracked how long it had been since Erika's last unscripted moment. "It's been 60 days since Erika Kirk's last real interview," one joked. The mystery only deepened, and the public's appetite for answers grew. But as the dust settled, one thing was clear. Joe Rogan and Candace Owens had completely changed the conversation. What once looked like sympathy now looked like suspicion. What once seemed like calmness now looked like control. And every silence, every statement, every viral clip only added to the sense that something bigger was happening behind the scenes. In the end, the story of Erika Kirk, Joe Rogan, and Candace Owens became more than just a viral moment. It became a case study in how truth, perception, and power collide in the digital age. The real story may never be fully known, but one thing is certain: the world is watching, and the next chapter is just around the corner. If you want to keep up with the real stories behind the headlines, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Here at Spotlight Vault, we bring you the facts, the drama, and the truth behind the internet's biggest moments. Stay tuned, because this story is far from finished.